Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Think of all that time. Every wait in the winter. All those hours no one else saw. Every sprint in the summer. Think of every sacrifice. Early mornings on the levee. Late nights in the film room. Bus rides to playoff games. Every bump in the road. Every moment of ecstasy. Every moment of doubt. Years wondering. Is it all worth it? It's all led to this. Man, I got this. It's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. After all the miles we've traveled, we're almost there. After all the hours we've worked, one more can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time.
Seems like no nonsense guy. Like
re-emphasize that for the Saints fans out there on TikTok. Caveman, what did you just say?
The rebuild starts right now. Marshawn Lattimore's gone, so the defense, like we're not getting any better.
Looking to get into Smith. What a pass! Not game! Guardell Smith with the game winner! Oh my goodness!
And that is why you have Aaron Fry pass the ball in. A career year. Like you have you have the best quarterback in the league, arguably, the best wide receiver in the league, and you've got the best edge rusher in terms of total sacks this season. And you're 4-7, and your playoff chances are hanging on by it. Let's make it interesting.
We're making it interesting. Come on. Give us the freaking home team. We'll take it.
Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Put him in
there.
Biz back the elbow.
Who the heck is that guy?
Deflected good. Help defense from the Warriors. Oh, what a pass! And Kuminga throws it down! This could be the pass of the year so far. You might watch every game the rest of the season in the NBA.
Mr. Announcer guy. So don't you go saying that you're never going to see that.
You're such a hater.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
You are looking live at Till the Final Whistle, everybody. HG and Caveman in the house. H-Train running the sound. Got a lot to cover today because the play-in tournament started last night, which means the NBA playoffs are right around the corner. We had the WNBA draft, UFL Week 3. We got some NFL news. We're going to do some mock drafts, and the NHL playoffs are also right around the corner. So we're getting into today's episode. Let's go over to those play-in games.
Yes,
Let's do those first. Because we had a we had a pretty good one to end off the night, but that 5 o'clock game was just a blowout. A blowout.
Well, it looked like the Hawks were going to make it interesting late in the third quarter, and had a complete meltdown. Terrible shooting drought. Trae Young threw like a tantrum or something and got himself ejected out
His
of the
team
game.
is just so trash. He just rage quit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's kind of what it looked like. And the Magic end up cruising to a play-in victory. They'll be taking on the Boston Celtics in the first round. The Hawks do have one more chance to keep their season alive and make the playoffs as an 8 seed. They will play whoever wins the Magic or the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat matchup tonight. They will play on Friday for the right to have the 8 seed. They do get the host. Atlanta does.
Give me the Bulls, man, at the 8 seed.
Yeah, I'd like
That's
them to
who I'm liking.
beat the Heat, and I think they can come in here and beat the Hawks. They got some heat going. There's momentum going with that team right there. They'll probably get annihilated by the Cavs, but it'd just be impressive for them to make the playoffs with how they turn their season around and finally moving on from Zach LaVine. Good on them.
Yeah, they've had a really rough year. Really, really rough season.
But a good finish to it. Yeah, and if you're Atlanta, I don't know if you even want to make the playoffs. I mean, I guess obviously you still do, but you're going to be in a world of hurt here, going up against the Cavaliers with all of your bigs basically hurt.
And you don't want to do that. You don't want to go against Mobley and Jared Allen.
Capella. Larry Nance, he's out. Josh Johnson, the very impressive forward. Yeah. He was looking like he was going to have himself a really good season. It all just kind of fell apart for him.
They really did lose a lot of their guys. It was just unfortunate.
Yeah. They looked really small out there compared to Orlando, and they couldn't shoot it at all. They just went out. They had some really bad scoring droughts.
19% from 3.
Yeah.
And their rookie, Rissa Shea, 2 for 10. Boys, 1 for 5 from 3.
He's kind of
7 points.
Man, he's kind of been a letdown. It's tough for him because I think he'll carve out a decent role in the NBA. I could see him being a really solid rotational role player, it just sucks that he got for him that was the number 1 overall pick, and it's like for where he got drafted, I don't think he's ever going to really live up to that value. I don't know. Showed some flashes. He did have a very impressive game where his career high 38 points, 36, something along those lines. But just never really hasn't really impressed me all that much. Still a young player.
Not a terrible year, 12-3-1. But it's also just kind of a little bit underwhelming for the number 1 overall pick to just be having a...
Especially after some of the ones we've seen, like Wemby just taking the league by storm.
He led the league in blocks, and he only played 46 games. So that's like a little over half. There's a whole 82.
Exactly. And you have other guys like Trae Young, he was the number 2 pick. DeAndre Ayton was the number 1 in their draft class, but he just doesn't really look showing that year 1 potential some of these other star players that were high draft picks have shown. Like I said, I think he'll still be a very solid player, but I don't know if he'll ever live up to a number 1 overall draft pick value. That's the nature of the game. We'll see. I'd be interested to see this Hawks team if they could stay healthy. They were just really battered all year too. They could really be a solid team if they could just stay healthy, and some of these young guys.
They didn't even have Jalen Johnson for this.
Yeah, really start to develop.
Shoulder surgery. Dang.
Like Dyson Daniels, man, he had a fantastic season. He'll probably win Most Improved Player
Oh yeah,
Jalen Johnson looked like he was like a fringe all-star player there early in the season. Then he got that shoulder injury, and that really sidelined his season. So tough. Yeah, just a tough year for the Hawks. We'll see. They still have a chance to make it, but I'm taking Chicago
I'm going with
to make
the Bulls,
it there.
man. Got to go with the Bulls on that one.
They really got something figured out there. For the Magic, good win for them. Finally starting to get healthy. I know Jalen Suggs is still out, but got some guys coming back. They were on another team. Probably wouldn't have even been in the play-in if they could have stayed healthy. I know Banchero, man, he missed like 46 games, so over half of the season. Jalen Suggs has missed 52, so they've just been real banged up. Franz Wagner, he missed 26 games, something like that. His brother Mo still out with an injury. Excuse me. Yeah, a team that really I don't think would have been in the play-in if they could have stayed healthy. They're starting to get healthy, though. They looked really good defensively last night. They're the worst three-point shooting team in the league by percentage, and that did kind of show 11 of 39. But they were pretty efficient inside the arc. Got to the line a great amount, 27 attempts there. And their rim protection, I mean, it's not really like one guy, but they just, as a unit, they just got some shot blockers. Good. They got good size there.
They have good size, and I think people are like okay with playing their role there. They have a lot of heavy guard roster here, and like a lot of them have been on the team for a while and haven't really got up to that starting role. Like, Cole Anthony plays a decent, solid amount of minutes, but isn't really your go-to starting point guard every night for the team. So
he was great last night, though. Their leading scorer with 26 points.
He can go out and do that. And
4 threes.
And he doesn't mind it. That's why healthy, like they wouldn't have been 41 and 41 if everybody had a full season. I feel like they probably would have had no problem getting past this play-in tournament. The Eastern Conference was kind of just a cakewalk for everybody. Who would they have knocked down there? Probably the Bucks.
The Bucks. Pacers or Pistons potentially.
Probably the Pistons would probably be the team that have gotten dropped.
Like they're
playing,
starting to get healthy. They're looking good defensively. They could, as long as the other team it doesn't shoot too many threes, or also not shooting the three ball well. I mean, they can really keep pace with you. Therein lies the big problem for them is that their round one matchup is against the Celtics, who can just spread the floor.
Yeah, they have so much 3-point.
Yeah, I mean,
shooting.
and
space.
They're also a big team though too. That like the Hawks were pretty small out there. I mean, it's just going to be a lot tougher to get as many blocks with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, all those guys driving to the basket. They're just
higher release points on the shots where.
But you've got
really
5. Their 5 starters can come out there and all shoot.
Yep.
40%. You've got even guys coming off the bench. Cornette, Sam Hauser, those guys.
And that team
buckets off the bench
is extremely underrated. They got some guys there. They got guards that love to get blocks. Drew Holiday, you can't ever forget about that dude. Clamp up your favorite player.
Like, man, if the Magic didn't end up in the play-in with the 7th seed, I could really see them. You could make a case for them to make it out of round 1, definitely. If they would have just gotten, the 6 through 4 seeds, one of those, if they could have made it there. They just missed out. Unfortunately, I think their season is going to come to an end.
Yeah. They might be able to take 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, I see them getting 1 at home. Optimistically, I could see them taking 2, but I'm going to keep it more realist here. I think the Celtics do gentlemen sweep them and
probably
take them in 5. Just a bad, it's a tough matchup to get the first round. It's Boston's a behemoth, and besides the Cavs, I don't really see any team outside of maybe the Knicks where I could make a legitimate case for being able to beat the Celtics. They're just that deep. that well coached. They've just got so much star power. And they're going to have home court and most of their series, except again if they end up playing Cleveland, except against Cleveland. So, and they're very good in TD Garden. They're very good in that building. That's going to recap our
It'd be
first
tough to
playing
stop
matchup.
to watch them too.
Yeah. It's going to be real tough. So our first NBA play-in matchup recap there was a blowout.
Some tonight.
Yeah. Was kind of interesting there in the third quarter when the Hawks were making the run to come back, and then they just choked it away. But man, last night, another classic from these two teams this season. We've got some
This
really
was
good.
Probably one of the best games ever. This was such a good game
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Curry and the Warriors against Morant and the Grizzlies. We got a comment from Jimmy. Over under 2 years before Ben Johnson's fired in Chicago. Hey, man. I'm not a hater like you, so optimistically from the moves he's made this offseason.
Yeah,
I can see two.
Over.
But if
Over.
if you want to look at it from a historical perspective,
Under.
yeah. I mean, the Bears have been off-season champs for like the past 3-4 years now, something like that. And it hasn't gotten any better. Maybe this time's different, but probably not.
Probably not. Definitely probably not.
All right. Back over to Golden State. A 121-116 win.
It's kind
Down
of
to the
crappy.
wire.
It could have been a last-second shot there to win it.
Yeah. They just forgot to inbound the basketball there.
Yeah, come on, Santi Aldama.
The trolley problem. That's my guy. And he forgot to pass the ball in. I don't know what happened there.
He was having such a good game until then, too.
Yeah.
He was cooking up.
So I'll just say it. The Warriors are scary, man. With Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry combined 38 and 37 points from those two.
And look at all these free throws, dude.
Yeah, they got to the
18
line.
from Jimmy, 13
A
from
lot.
Steph.
Steph knocked down 6 threes as well. And they got the defense, and that translates into offense, which is what's really scary about them. Like, it just they create so many opportunities for them to get out there. They're athletic. They can shoot pretty well from all over the floor. Obviously, you got the greatest shooter of all time on your team there. And Jimmy Butler is just he's making it that much easier for him to operate and take some of that attention away from him. Because he's like dropping 38 points last night. He's a legitimate threat to score.
Oh yeah.
And that was really what was just hindering the Warriors, I think, these past few years, is that teams could just put so much defensive focus on Steph. A little bit of that's off of them there. And yeah, you're seeing them thrive.
That was a big signing. I mean,
probably I don't know if I would go as far as to say the best trade, just because the Lakers got Luka for a pack of Planters peanuts, but it's certain it might be number 2 there. I mean, it is up there with just the fundamental, like the change that put in place in Golden State, and the way they flipped their season off of that is just incredible. So, masterclass move by the Warriors front office right there.
And that Ja Morant ankle injury was just sad. He was he was hobbling down the court.
Yeah.
Most of this game and still getting buckets. It was pretty crazy. This was an insane game. I mean, shout out though. I got to give props to Draymond Green, Moses Moody, and the other bigs of Golden State. Without Trace Jackson Davis and like Kuminga, extremely undersized team.
Right.
That starting 5 is small.
Like, I was kind of surprised we didn't really see a lot of Kevon Looney out there.
Only 10 minutes. That's Looney Tunes, man.
We got some Quentin Post. He was actually really good for them.
He was good
off the bench, but he's also not the tallest guy. Like, he can kind of play the 5 for you, but again, not super tall. So, like,
Jimmy Covers, he's gracing with us with his presence. He said over under 2 years before Ben Johnson was fired in Chicago.
Yeah, we already answered that question. On the Grizzlies side, and I like Zach Edey's really finding himself a nice role here in the NBA. Beast on the boards, decent score, but man, he gets his big problem. He gets pressured and he just gives the ball away.
He was kind of choking the game away there at the end. He not? His turnovers there at the end were huge.
Right. I mean, they would just start to swarm him, and he just
4 turnovers is
freaking
so much for a big man.
Be freaking out. And he missed that dunk earlier too, where it's you gotta just have that, and you're 7'3",
7'3", 7'4".
So you're ridiculously tall, and you're a guy that's a whole foot and a half shorter than you.
That's what my player on 2K be doing.
Yeah, missing
dunks like that.
Yeah, Desmond Bane, he was really great. Sucks that GG Jackson isn't healthy. I think he would be great for them off the bench right there as well.
Yeah, they really needed him too.
I thought Scottie Pippen Jr. was doing a pretty good job guarding Curry until late in that game, and then Curry just put him through the woodworks.
Can't get tired guarding him, man.
Yeah, you just can't.
He just moves around. They're just designing everything to move him around the floor. So
37 years old, and he's still just moving like that. Doesn't get tired. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I get tired just watching them sometimes. So, yeah, Golden State. I mean, now they get a matchup that's pretty favorable for them and the team in Houston that has had their struggles offensively this season. Their offense can disappear for stretches. They're really solid defensively, though. So, this is going to be a fantastic defensive series between these two teams. But if I'm being honest, I think I trust the Warriors more to bring the offense. And I think the experience of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, even some of these young Warriors, they've been here before. Moses Moody has been with the team for a while. Gary Payton, Buddy Hield's been in these situations before.
Yeah. Good experience on the roster still, man.
Versus a bit more of a younger, inexperienced Rockets team. I mean, Fred VanVleet, Jeff Green, those guys have been here before, but I think this is Sengun. He'll be his first playoffs. Jalen Green's first playoffs. Amen Thompson's first playoffs. Is it Amen or more in Houston?
They have Amen Thompson.
Amen Thompson. Okay. Yeah. Can never remember.
I mean, I don't want to sleep on them too much, man. They're still just red hot.
Well,
and are they gonna have?
They are gonna have home court advantage in this series. They are the 2 seed. I mean, they do have some just incredible explosiveness, and the athleticism and that young core can kind of ignite, an offensive run there.
It's like Curry right here.
I think just fundamentally though, the Warriors are able to do more on offense, and they're just able, the threat of Curry shooting just enables so much more.
But Amen Thompson on Steph Curry.
That's true. I mean,
he could lock that down. 9 for 22 with Scottie Pippen on him.
Yeah,
Amen Thompson could lock. Steph down.
You think it's that simple, and I'd love to think that too.
What is Steph freaking Curry?
He's just so smart and always finds a way to impact the game. I could see this series going to 7. I'm gonna say it goes to 7. I think the Warriors do take it to 7 though, man.
This is a great first round matchup right here.
Warriors, this is definitely one of the top ones to watch.
Little playoff rivalry in a way, because Rockets with James Harden would always match up against the stacked Warriors teams.
Yeah, the Western Conference Finals where they missed 27 3-point shots in a row.
The Warriors came back down 3-1 in that series, didn't they not?
I don't think so. No, I think they
2-1. They came back big on one series where Mike D'Antoni was still the coach of the Rockets. But before they even got like
They might have come back down 2-1
Yeah.
or something like that. I think if I remember correctly, they got down like 2-1 and then they won 3 straight and just
they did.
clobbered them.
They came back 3-1 in like the first round to the Thunder one year before KD left. The same year after goes to the Warriors.
Yep.
Goodness.
He's like, you beat me in the playoffs, I'll go join you.
I'll join the team.
Yeah. So the Grizzlies now, they'll be waiting on the winner of the Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, I think Memphis still makes it.
Yeah. Because, well,
Whoever wins that, I think Memphis can take care of them easily.
Kings?
2 teams that have, I just don't know that if they're the same team without the Aaron Fox there. Levine's been nice for him. Malik Monk's still there, still playing at a pretty good level. Sabonis has kind of had a down year after what he did last season, and they still didn't even make the playoffs after that season. Yeah, I still just think the Grizzlies take that. I think they're just a better team, top to bottom. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how Giles' ankle is feeling, what the injury is there. I mean, that could throw a wrench into the whole operation there for Memphis, but I think they still do make the playoffs. Dallas, man, last year you made the finals,
and now they're the 9 seed.
Yeah, finals. You had like one of the best players in basketball, and you're riding high. Like finals runner up, but you're like, okay, we can go on the run here, can make it back. And then all of a sudden, now your best player traded away for an injury-prone, aging big man.
Yeah,
Kyrie Irving.
First game he played with him, he got injured.
Tears his ACL. And we are just looking. We're on the brink right now. We're on the brink of dropping out of the playoffs. And yeah, I don't even think they're going to win this play-in game. Crazy turnaround.
No. Are they going to have AD for this game? Yeah,
they should.
Okay. Well, I mean,
all reports I've heard, he seems healthy and good to go.
This is going to be a rough game for Dallas.
All right.
Is it really just an FBI NBA scheme to send the Dallas Mavericks to Vegas? Is that really what's happening? We had to watch this huge downfall of them, and then they're just going to move.
I mean, I've never seen what looked like more obvious sabotage than what the what are their names? The Aldmans did to Dallas.
Yeah. Mark Cuban is just rolling.
Just
he's losing sleep over selling this team.
I know. He just can't believe he let these are the people he let get a hold of his team.
He was there. One of their last game of the season, or no, it was actually the return of Luka. The first 4 seconds into the game, you're getting "Fire Nico" chants from the crowd. Mark Cuban sitting in the sidelines, rubbing his eyes, looking stressed out to be at the game, dude. Like he was down.
And then, like the video they had for Luka, and like you could see him like crying, bro. Like he never wanted to leave.
That's his own fault. That's the reason a guy created suites. He should be in the suite. He shouldn't be on the floor. So that's Mark Cuban's fault.
Yeah.
They were down bad. Luka even cried at the tribute thing. And they got a Trae Young tweeted about it because the two teams traded. The Hawks would have had Luka Doncic. The two teams traded him.
Yeah.
He was going to be so loyal to that team. Oh my gosh, man. That's just CIA sabotage in the NBA right there.
It's got to be. All right. Well, we got about 2 minutes left. Okay, man. Let's run through these first round matchups and who we got going. So we're assuming I'm saying Thunder Grizzlies round 1 here in the West.
That's where I'm gonna go to. I want to see I was a Grizzlies fan last night watching that game. I want to see him in the playoffs.
I did too. Unfortunately, I think they get swept here probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Thunder in 4 with this one.
Healthy Oklahoma City. They got him. It's probably
Nuggets and Clippers round one.
Fingers crossed the Nuggets can beat.
I'm
just
back
take 'em
in on
6.
Denver after what Jokic said. He got me back in.
Nuggets in 6.
It's going to be a
Come
dog
on.
fight though, but Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets
I
in
agree with you.
6.
Zubac quietly like a top 5 big man in the league this year.
He's most improved player, in my opinion.
Yeah,
This
he
season is
definitely
absolutely
deserves
insane.
consideration. I don't think he'll win it, but he deserves it. Yeah, and the health of the Clippers is going to be the big question. Also, no more Terrence Mann there. He was a beast for them off the bench. The Norman Powell show. Yeah, I mean, good. This is a good matchup for the Nuggets round one, though. We'll see how Harden and Kawhi play. You know, if they can stay healthy, they're going to give some problems. This is going to be on the Western side of the bracket, maybe the best matchup for round one.
Yeah, Lakers, Timberwolves.
Ooh, I don't know that's also a doozy. There are so many good matchups round one. These playoffs are going to be so good. Lakers, Timberwolves here. Man, Timberwolves fans are going to they're going to figure out what playoff Julius Randle is like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to say Lakers in 5, but like you're not.
I'm going to go with Lakers in 6 because I could see Anthony Edwards just going bananas, just going absolutely bonkers to win them 2 games. But
yeah,
I
could see
LeBron?
It going to 7, but I could see it going to 7 only if Julius Randle has a couple crazy nights too.
Dude, crazy idea. This isn't going to happen. I think they should start Naz Reid, man. And bro, I think he can just provide his defense. I don't think is that far removed from what Rudy Gobert gives you, and I think he just does for you more offensively, and he can probably exploit the Lakers' weakness at center better than Rudy Gobert can. But I don't think they'll do that. That's probably why they'll lose in 6. All right, then Rockets, Warriors. Like we said, I'm saying this game goes to 7, but I got Warriors in 7.
You know,
I want to say Rockets game.
I want to go with the
I
Rockets,
really do,
man.
but the inexperience. I think the Warriors just. The Rockets had a really strong finish to the year too, but the Warriors might be the hottest team in basketball after acquiring Jimmy Butler, and the record's like 21-5, maybe more wins than that. It's like 5 losses with him out coming to the team. Hottest team in basketball. Going to be in a dogfight with Houston though. These Rockets are no slouch, and they'll be probably right back here come next year anyway. So give me the Warriors. Warriors in 7. All right, let's flip it over to the East. 1-8 matchup. Cavaliers, and we're saying
Probably
the Bulls.
Probably the Bulls.
Hey, Jimmy, shout out your Bulls, man. They're doing some incredible stuff there. Love the future that young team's got ahead of them. Kobe White, Matthias Buzelis, those guys are the truth. They are going to get swept by the Cavaliers in round 1. Though. The Cavs are going to destroy them. I'm sorry, but this is like
maybe they'll take 1. Maybe the Bulls take 1.
I could potentially see it, but that Cavs team is pretty stacked top to bottom as well. And they've put together a real good squad there. You know, obviously Donovan Mitchell, everyone knows about him. He's been the beast in this league for a while. Dude, Darius Garland, man, he's so nice with that, but with a basketball. And Evan Mobley, already an elite defender. Now, I mean, he's just added such an element to his offensive game this year. Yeah, Cavs are gonna roll through this series, I fear.
Yeah.
Pacers, Bucks. Probably no Dame for the Bucks.
Kind of a little bit of a down year for the Pacers, though. I don't know.
For sure.
I don't want to sleep on him right here, but Giannis has kind of been putting up some insane numbers. Like he could carry this team like he did in their title run.
He is having like a dang near MVP type of season. if Shea and Jokic didn't exist. Yeah, no Lillard. Kuzma's been really great for him. Kevin Porter Jr. has been having a really good season. Screw that guy. He shouldn't be playing basketball, but he is. Bobby Portis, still an elite defender there. Yeah, man. I don't know. Pacers, with what I've seen from them this year, they're not going to have the benefit of there being no Giannis in this series. I don't think they're ready to see Giannis in the postseason like they did last year. Like they were able to avoid last year. They go Bucks in 6 here.
Go Bucks too. I like that prediction right there. I think Giannis can carry
Bucks
this
in
team.
7, just because I think the loss of Lillard will make it a little tougher to win.
It'll be a little tough.
We'll take it here. All right, we're gonna go Knicks
Pistons
Pistons here. Man, I like what the Pistons got going. Will it translate into the playoff basketball? I could be a big upset round 1 here. For sure, just because of how Thibodeau's minute rotation goes and how, the Pistons can really wear out that team. I don't think that'll happen. That elite duo of Brunson and Cat, do Mikal Bridges as well as the Josh Hart. I think it's just a little too good though. They'll be tied. I think they'll be tied. They'll be real tired though, which will make it tough for them in their second round matchup. I'm gonna go Knicks in 6 here.
I'm going with that as well. I mean, there's some favorable matchups here. Like you put up Cade. Cade Cunningham gets pretty solid mismatch if he goes up and gets a matchup against Jalen Brunson defensively. But I mean, more often than not, he's got OG on him. He's gonna have Hart on him, and he's gonna have he's not gonna have Jalen Brunson guarding him for most of the series just because of their size difference. And really, like Cade Cunningham would be able to score over Jalen Brunson just with ease every up and down the court every time. Thibodeau's not going to be that stupid and let that happen. So, it's going to be some tougher matchups, favorable mismatches if you can call the right plays, though. Knicks in 6, though. I think they have
Isaiah
a lot
Stewart's going to get frustrated. Probably going to get under Cat's skin a little bit, though.
He'll have a game where he gets him. Stewart's going to get him one game.
This is another matchup that I think is just going to be
super
fun to watch.
This
matchup going to be just a down dirty brawl right there. Keep an eye on Knicks Pistons. You want to see some physical, old school type basketball. And I think we're going to see some tempers flare. There's probably going to be a fight in that series.
Oh yeah.
And then Celtics Magic, we talked about a little bit after we
Sweep.
covered them. Gentlemen sweep. I think the Magic get 1, but the Celtics are going to just gentlemen sweep them here.
14.5 points favorites for Boston in game 1. And I am feeling the odds on that one.
Yep.
At least
I think they'll get one at home.
Boston.
I think they'll get one at home. I think it'll be after they go down 3-0 though.
Yeah.
They'll stave off elimination. Yep. Right. Incredible. We'll see an amazing game out of Paolo Banchero. Play a little hero ball there. Then they'll go back to Boston and lose by 30. But they will have one game where it all looks incredible.
Yeah, it won't look so bleak for one game.
But besides that one game, I think the Celtics will
handle
them in the series pretty handily.
Mop the floor with them.
Yes, sir, indeed. All right. That's going to bring us to the end of our first segment here. We're going to go ahead and go hit a commercial break. Play some music for you. When we come back, we have the WNBA draft on Monday night. We're going to go ahead and cover and give out some grades for all 12 teams there, as well as NHL playoffs starting soon. Plus, we got a UFL Week 3 recap in store. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Final Whistle on Military Broadcast Radio.
Whatever happened to the brave young soldier? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he never once cried, lying with his brothers there by his side. At 19 years old, he was sent off to war, not really sure what he was fighting for. So he fights for what's behind him and his brothers beside him. Together they'll weather the storm. 9 long months later and he's still alive. Fought several long battles you shouldn't have survived. Then the IED exploded as the ambush unfolded. He laid there bleeding as his brothers all died. Whatever happened to the brave young soldier? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he never once cried, lying with his brothers there by his side. Reinforcements arrived in the nick of time. Old Doc had found him and called in the nightline. He awoke in the hospital. They patched all the holes. Too bad they couldn't fix the ones in his soul. And 16 years later he locks all the doors, unable to find anything worth living for. His family has left him. He feels society rejects him. With a bottle and a pistol, he falls to the floor. Whatever happened to the brave old veteran? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he sat there and cried, with only his memories sitting there by his side. Brothers and sisters, we can't lose this war. Have we forgotten what the hell we fought for? Pick up the phone, don't knock on the door. 22 too many, we must carry on, fighting these battles until they are won. We know that we walk on the edge of a knife, but one simple call can save a life. Whatever happened to the brave old veteran? He was a good friend of mine.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
You are looking live at Till the Final Whistle. HG and Caveman in the house. Getting back to our coverage here. We just finished up the NBA play-in tournament. Playoffs are getting spicy. We just had the WNBA draft not too long ago here. And the Dallas Wings had the first overall pick.
And you're all going to be shocked with who they took number 1 overall.
Paige Beckers, of course.
Yeah. No surprise there. Very obvious pick there.
As a guy running our show leaves the room. All right.
But ESPN gave him an A+. I would give him an A just because I think they went a little guard heavy. I don't know, like they didn't wait until their final pick to finally address their backcourt a little bit. Felt like they probably could have taken, big a little earlier. Didn't take Sedona Prince, though, which was what a lot of people were projecting. She did not even get drafted.
Yeah, and I'm glad.
So, another one bites the dust. See you later. But Paige Beckers, number 1 overall, obviously. Isaiah James, like that pick for him too. That's
that's smart.
Watching the show
honestly.
for a while, I'm a big fan of hers.
NC State, baby.
Madison Scott out of Ole Miss, shooting guard. Then they went J.J. Quinterly, West Virginia Mountaineers. So they drafted 3 shooting guards.
And they got Aaronette Vonleh, too.
Yeah.
Another
good center out of Baylor. I think Vonleh would make it. I just don't know if all these shooting guards are going to be able to make the team,
Yeah,
Scott and Quinterly. I think Isaiah James should 100% make it. And you also got Arika Gumbawale there. So there's just the front court's very heavy. That's why I just think you could have went for a little more depth in your backcourt there for sure. But really great draft. I'm really thrilled to see how Beckers, James, Gumbawale all play together there as well, though. And I think the defense of that team is going to be fantastic. They were like the worst team. I mean, obviously, the number 1 overall pick. They were the worst team last year. Only won 6 games. Yeah, we could see a big flip from the Wings into a potential playoff team just off of these draft picks alone.
Draft from them.
Yeah, really good draft.
Second overall pick.
Little guard heavy though.
Yeah. Second overall pick went to Seattle, the Storm, from the LA Sparks in a trade, and they got an overseas player here. 6'6" center from France, Dominique Malonga. Man, this pre-draft analysis on ESPN, I've never actually heard of this girl before. She's 19 years old from France. 6'6". It looks like this is going to bring a pretty unique skill set to the WNBA. Looks like from what we're seeing, we saw from Wemby. It says on here though she's got great ability to finish at the rim, above average ball handling skills. I mean, we could see some interesting play style from her. She can shoot with range a little bit, so she moves pretty smoothly all over the court as well. So, I mean, pretty young player, but gonna have to acclimate to a new country as well. But we'll see what happens here. This should be interesting.
ESPN gave him a B+ draft grade. Overall, I'd have to say I'd agree with that. Also got a Sundell from the Kansas State Wildcats, Madison Conley from TCU, and Jordan Hobbs, who's from Michigan. So a couple of guards there to shore up the backcourt. And then just dropping on, looking at their roster now. So they'll be joining, Skylar Diggins-Smith there. So some of those guards will be, we'll see if they get some significant playing time. But I think they did a good job of at least getting some depth at their guard spot behind Diggins-Smith. Their front court with what's her name coming in, Dominique Malonga, should be a lot sturdier now with them with her there. Be interesting to see where the Seattle Storm go this year. They were a playoff team last year. Didn't really give us the greatest playoff showing. I do think they made it to the second round, but looked like they just got outmatched in the second round there.
They were a pretty young team last year too. Not a lot of veteran presence there to work with, at least last year.
We get to the 3rd and 4th overall picks, which were both held by the Washington Mystics.
Sonia Citron and Kiki Arifin. Now, it looks like this pick was also traded from Chicago. I think they traded the 3rd overall pick and the 11th overall pick here.
Mystics, they had 3 first-round picks. At pick 6, they also got Georgia Amore.
The 4th,
from Kentucky,
5th, and 6th overall pick. I mean, that's good. And you get Kiki Arifin out of this. Yeah. That's your bang for your buck. Only 4th overall too.
Yeah, Citron had a great season this year for the Fighting Irish. Arifin, the second best player on that USC team. Georgia Moore on a really good Kentucky Wildcats team. She was running the point for them all season. Their later round picks, more guards, Lucy Olson, Zay Green. I'd say A- is what ESPN give them, but I would give them an A. I think their last 2 picks were kind of just, to take a shot. You really covered a lot of your needs with those first 3 picks. Oh, I think my thing went out. Thank you.
There you go.
Really just covered a lot of their needs with those first 3 picks. So I would give them an A here. They're going to look to make an impact now. Mystics were a team that was on the bubble last season. Moves like this could be what pushes them over the edge into a playoff team. Going to take a look at their roster here now to bring it. Just look at where they're standing at depth wise here. So bringing in Citron, obviously Elia Edwards was fantastic for them last year. And where is she? I think she left. Oh, blanking on their name at the moment, but they had a really great guard last year that won a bunch of stuff at the. That was on the Dream. Never mind. But they did lose somebody in free agency, so at the guard position. So Citron looking to probably make an impact there right away, and I'd imagine Arafan could find meaningful minutes right out of the gate as well.
Yeah. That really adds some depth for him there, too. That's pretty solid. Good picks.
So then we go to our number 5th pick here. And this goes to an expansion team, actually, if you can believe it or not.
Golden State Valkyries. 4th overall pick.
They're down here. They got a C- from ESPN. I would give them a C+ probably. A Lithuanian point guard named Just Joyce, I think is, hopefully I pronounced that right. Cheyenne Sellers from the Maryland Terrapins. Caitlin Chen out of UConn.
Ooh.
Like that pick. She went pretty late. She was a 30th pick. I thought Caitlin Chen was
kind of a
high,
steal in this draft.
Yeah, high first round there. Kind of hard to evaluate how they did. This is their first draft. And, how these players fit on their team. The expansion team.
Yeah, we don't really even know yet.
Yeah, we're just not going to really know until we see them get in there. A lot of these players, are unproven that they got here. Just look at make a name for themselves. The only time's really going to tell how they did on this first draft. Hard to gauge and give them a fair grade just with them being the expansion team and everything. And obviously we covered the 6th pick. We're going to skip down to 7 and 8, which were both held by the Connecticut Sun.
Anissa Morrow with this 7th overall pick. Huge for them.
Huge, yeah. I would give the Sun an A, which is the same thing that the ESPN draft graders gave them. Sanaya Rivers, also off of the Wolfpack, and they got Raya Marshall from USC as well. Very heavy in the front court, all Fords that they drafted. But I don't, they don't really need a whole lot of help in the backcourt, and they lost a staple of that team, Alyssa Thomas, in free agency. So you got to bring in some size for that front court. Bring in some placements there. Anissa Morrow is a forward that can go and guard the center. Could play the 5 spot in a pinch for you too. She was given Lauren Betts fits in that Elite 8 matchup against LSU. Didn't ultimately help them win, but was really giving her some problems.
Yeah, she can prove to be a pretty tough matchup.
So now you're throwing Morrow up there in the front court or in the back court. While you got Marina Marby up there in the front, Tina Charles at center. This team's looking pretty good. The Sun, I might pencil them in to be potential title contenders. I know losing Alyssa Thomas hurt, but they got a good team. They really got a really good team that I think can at least go back to where they were last season. I think that should be pretty easy for them.
This Sanaya Rivers pick. is just 10 times better, though. Because honestly, I feel like her playmaking skills are kind of got her ready to play like point guard position in WNBA. I don't want to speak too soon, but like her perimeter shooting it didn't really improve too much in college, but her athleticism, playmaking, and just overall like IQ for the game, pretty much she's been pro ready for like 2 years at least. From what we've seen from her at NC State. So I feel like definitely could be one of the primary ball handlers for Connecticut. With that size too, I mean, you're really just changing how you can play your game and run your lineups. Those be interesting to see what Connecticut does with these 2 picks.
The 9th overall pick went to the Los Angeles Sparks, where they took Sarah Ashley Lee Barker from Alabama. She's a shooting guard. Also got Sanaya Fagan, great power forward for the South Carolina Gamecocks, and Latanya King, the small forward from last season's Notre Dame Fire and the Irish. Give this a solid B here. The Sparks, they got Cameron Brink, hoping she can come back from that injury well. If so, you pair her up with a couple of pretty productive guards, just in terms of scoring and rebounding, solid defenders as well, and a bit of a shooter in Sarah Ashley Barker. There, give them a solid grade. I think a lot of their success is still going to hinge on how Cameron Brink comes back from that injury. But a team that is certainly looking to make an improvement there. I think they've got the pieces. We'll see if they can put it all together, though. That's the I'll believe it when I see it. You're going to have to prove it to me first. The Chicago Sky were the last 2 first round picks we haven't covered, with Ajesa Skiva Saveka from Slovenia. Probably butchered that name. I apologize. And
it's a hard name to pronounce.
Haley Van Lith, the TCU Horned Frogs star point guard. They also, in the later rounds, pulled in Maddie Westbeld and Aicha Kubuli from Texas A&M. Give this a solid B+, mostly just for Haley Van Lith here.
They're reuniting her.
Yeah.
Her and her teammate, Angel Reese.
Yep. They're back together. Camila Cardoza there at center. You've got Kennedy Carter.
Oh, that team, they're going to be solid next year.
The Sky are going to be really good. They just missed out on the playoffs. I think they've got
a bad skid at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Bad skid.
And a lot of it just came from they just didn't have a lot of great scorers outside of Kennedy Carter. Like Cardoza, Angel Reese, great rebounders, great on the boards, but it just a lot of the scoring responsibilities fell on Carter. I think Haley Van Lith can give you a boost there. With alongside Courtney Vandersloot, that might open up some more opportunities for her, or at least put some pressure on her to up her scoring and everything. I like these moves for the Sky. I'm looking at the Sky to be a playoff team come the end of the season here.
They had a good first round there.
Few teams that didn't have a first round pick that we're going to get to now as well. And we'll start.
Dream didn't. Minnesota had no first round picks.
New York Liberty, I don't think even.
They traded some of theirs away.
I don't know if they even had a draft pick, if I'm being honest.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like they traded away all their picks.
Yep. Fresh off the championship.
Oh, no, they had one. They had the final pick in the draft, Aja Kane from France, power forward.
So that's kind of hard to even give a grade.
Yeah, they got one player.
Misses irrelevant. We'll see how that turns out.
One depth player, their power forward position.
But we'll start with the Indiana Fever. Obviously, they got Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark there, the phenom basketball star. What did they add to that team with her? Michaela Timpson, I beg your pardon, from the Florida State Seminoles, Bree Hall from South Carolina, and Yvonne Ejim from Gonzaga.
This is one team I don't think anyone should sleep on next year.
Give that
they got
solid
more experience, man.
A huge snag for them in free agency too. DeWanna Bonner.
I didn't know about
Yeah,
that.
joining them in free agency. So they are having a great offseason. You get Bonner now up there with Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark in your front court. You've got Bree Hall. She's there as well, kind of coming off the bench, be a spark plug for him off the bench a lot. Jaylen Brown and Clark will likely be your starting forwards here. Maybe Sophie Cunningham.
They still got that shooting guard from last year, right? The one they drafted her and Caitlin Clark same year last year. They were both rookies.
Kelsey Mitchell.
Kelsey Mitchell.
Yes.
That number 2. Don't forget her. Number 2 leading scorer in women's NCAA basketball. Can't forget about her.
Yes. So the Fever, loading up really. Good draft by them after they'd already been building some team depth with their picks. Obviously taking the consensus number 1 pick in Caitlin Clark. Huge free agent signing in DeWanna Bonner. It is the Fever looking dangerous. Watch out, rest of the WNBA. They're going to be very good. Another team that did not have a first-round pick is the Atlanta Dream.
Their first pick was until 19.
Yeah,
and they got Tahina Pow.
I'll give them a C-. Pow was really good. Then they got Taylor Terry. They just didn't have enough picks, I think.
They didn't have a lot. They didn't have any picks. They had 2.
Can be a little, it might be a little unfair holding that against them.
The 19th and the 36th overall.
I like Pow. I just don't think she's like the player that's going to elevate your team a whole lot. She's going to be great for you coming off the bench for sure. The Dream having a kind of underwhelming offseason. Still got Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard there. Very good combo in the front court. Now Pow can back him up.
And she's kind of like a 2 anyways, really, where at South Carolina, she kind of filled the role of being a shooter. And that's kind of what Atlanta needs. If they can just find her role, get her in the corner, and let her just find that shot in the WNBA, and then you can kind of develop some more from there.
They did bring in Brittany Griner to be their center. We'll see.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, I feel like Griner's kind of on the decline of her career. The front court's not the strongest, in my opinion. They'll probably be a bubble playoff team, fringe playoff team. I don't know if they'll make it in, though. Long season, though. Time will tell there. All right, last 2 teams that we haven't got to cover here that didn't have a first-round pick. The Las Vegas Aces got Aaliyah Nye from the Crimson Tide and then Hermione Turner from Harvard. Joining the Aces, who lost their first-round pick due to a disciplinary issue.
Oh, so that's why this one up here. Let me see. They would have had the 7th overall pick that was given to Connecticut.
Yep. So, grade for this one. ESPN's got it at a B-. I would give it a C+.
Just didn't have a lot of picks really where you can grade it too well either.
I just don't think they needed to take 2 shooting guards back to back. I know you have, one of the greatest players in all of college or in all of basketball with Asia Wilson. I think you have a super strong front court though as well. Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, is she still with the team? I think she might have actually moved on.
She's not with the team anymore. I'm pretty sure she went to.
But Chelsea Gray is still there.
Chelsea Gray, who's pretty much the point guard.
Jewel Lloyd there as well. I would like to get Asia a little more help in the front court. That's where I would have probably gone. I don't hate taking the Aaliyah Nye, good pick there. Probably the best player on the board for you when you went to go pick. Just think it would have made more sense to go for a 4th or something with your other pick. That's why I give it a C+. I've got high hopes for Turner to turn into a solid player in the league, you could just used it on something a little that helps your team a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we come to the Lynx. They bring in Anastasia Koso, a Russian prospect, international player, Delia Daniels from the Washington Huskies, Aubrey Griffin, part of that great UConn Huskies team that will be joining Nafisa Collier in Minnesota.
That's going to be pretty. Man, a lot of these teams got really, really good. I'm excited to see where the Valkyries go on their first.
I'd give this like a B- out of here.
Yeah.
Nothing like super needle moving, but it gives you a lot of great depth. I don't think this is a team that isn't missing a whole lot. I mean, they kept a lot of their team. Collier's still there. Bridget Carlton right along with her there on that front court. Kayla McBride still holding down the one for you. Alana Smith, another great forward that they got there. The Lynx are I think poised to be right back in title conversations.
Easily.
Brought in some good depth for their team. They're rocking and rolling. And the Minnesota Lynx are our final team to really cover here. Liberty are defending champions. Again, just one irrelevant pick. So not too much to break down on there. We'll see. It's the very last person in the draft. They very rarely amount to any of the players that have a super meaningful impact. And it can be solid bench players, solid depth pieces. Time will only tell. We'll see with that. All right, we're coming up on the time for our next break, so we're going to go ahead and play another song for you. When we come back, we've got the UFL Week 3 recap for you. Another week where defenses shine, and the NHL playoffs. Last few games of the season upcoming, and what the standings are looking like as the playoffs loom over us. This is Till the Final Whistle on Military Broadcast Radio. We'll be right back.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
You are looking live at Till the Final Whistle, everybody. Back and locked in. Just finished up our WNBA first round draft recap. Covered all the teams that had a first round pick, all the teams that didn't. But we got to flash back to last weekend and cover week 3 of the UFL. First matchup on here, a 10-9 final with the Birmingham Stallions and the Arlington Renegades here.
So that Stallions defense really starting to show up. Arlington looking like they were one of the best offenses in the league, but after getting up 9-0 in the first half, shut out in the second half, and the Stallions scored 10 unanswered to give us this doozy of a 1 point win.
1 point victory. What a game, though. I mean, they got the win, right?
Yeah. Didn't look all too pretty on either side for, offensively. I mean, it was a great defense, poor offense, a little bit of a mixture of both. Sal Canilla, one of the only players that really stood out with his 6 catches for 52 yards, wasn't able to get it in the end zone. Only had 1 touchdown in this game. And that came on one of the final drives of the game. Matt Corral, just a crazy 19 of 41. That is a 46% completion percentage. Got the victory for his team. It looks like
That's
he's
an ugly one, but hey, man, he got the job done.
Looks like he's going to be the guy there for Birmingham. Also led the team in rushing with 24 yards. Like you're saying, a lot of.
They got to figure out who's going to be their running back, though, man. If they can get that running offense going. Because how many games are you going to win with 46% from your quarterback and you only put up 10 points? How many times are you going to get allowed to win off that?
Some bad offensive play from Arlington, plus just their defense really tightening up. There in the second kept them in it, but I don't know. The Stallions do not really have a sustainable model of play for the rest of the season, and I could see it backfiring majorly. We're able to generate 2 takeaways, 3 sacks.
Punt. Yeah, 5 punts in this game and a fumble.
Yeah, they're not playing a sustainable brand of football. It's they get a more competent offensive team, and it's gonna. Their offense was a little bit better last week against Michigan, but there were just parts of that game too where you're like, ooh, these are rough here offensively. They didn't really seem to have like just anything like bread and butter to go to there.
And it's when they got to drive down the field.
Right. I mean, they're just trying to throwing everything off the call sheet at the wall and seeing what sticks. And
all their punt
it's just bouncing off.
Came on. They were not in plus territory at all. They did not get the ball anywhere on Arlington's side of the 50. And their first possession of the game, they got an interception, started the ball at their own 9, and obviously had to punt, but they only gained 2 yards. The drive ended at the Birmingham 11-yard line. They had a few drives where they were able to get it down the field a little bit. They had 2 red zone drives in the 3 the whole game. 1 being on the touchdown. But here, it was a punt on the Arlington 10-yard line, which is where they eventually had to finally punt the ball away. The possession ended there. So, I mean, they really didn't have too much going offensively. Didn't get the ball in plus territory.
And then if you're Arlington, you just choking away some great opportunities. First, you get an interception, get the ball at the Birmingham 10-yard line, and, that ends in a field goal. A fumble recovery gets to the Birmingham 15. That ends in a field goal.
Yeah. What's going on here?
And another punt think they got that might be actually at their own 10 and their own 15. Yeah, it flipped. But yeah, just some good drives that they sustain for a while. And it just sputters out when they get into the red zone. So yeah, I like Birmingham came away with the win, but I don't think either team should be feeling good about how they played in this game. It was an ugly.
Yeah, that's not a very big win here. 10-9.
Right.
They're kind of in all these games really close, which kind of shakes out the playing field here.
Yeah.
We could see a completely new champion this year, and I'm good. I'm glad for that.
I'm banking on it. I think it's possible. Yeah. All right, we're going over to our second matchup here. This one had a little more action. Houston Roughnecks take down the Memphis Showboats, 18-17. Houston gets its first win on the year. Memphis remains winless at 0-3 now.
Man, Memphis, come on now.
Yeah, they struggled a lot.
It's really
on third down, 5 of 14. Did convert 2 fourth downs though. But turned the ball over 3 times. And really just squandered away some good opportunities there.
DJ
Perry continuing to struggle in this Memphis offense. They can't really figure out a way to run the ball either. Kwame Lassiter starting to emerge maybe as that number 1 receiver there. He's had a couple of good weeks there. Been pretty consistent for them.
I think there might just be time to change over. Try out Troy Williams. I mean, do you come back in this season realistically? It's not a very long season at all. But like you go down 3 games pretty early. It's kind of tough for you to get back into it.
You are already, not in a great spot at an 0-3 record. Like your playoff chances are already like starting to get pretty slim. Like you gotta get locked in quickly in this 10-week season. Yeah.
You threw 11 passes for 80 yards and just
coming in for Anthony Brown, who just ended up getting benched. He went 53% completion percentage for only 40 yards. Not great quarterback play from either of these teams.
Maybe this was just a week of like not really having very good or positive like a rushing offense.
Yeah.
Because looking at all 4 teams we've looked at so far, absolutely nobody has really had that much of a running game. And this is just the 2 low-scoring games. The next ones with the Battlehawks and the Panthers, the teams that we picked put up points, guys. Don't worry. Well, we got some good, exciting ones for
our squads are putting in some work here.
But there was no running offense from either team in this one or the last one. A lot of just try to dry offense, not really getting anything going until very late.
Right. A lot of drives where you're just like, 3 for 7 yards, 6 for 17. We got 2 for -2, 3 for 3 plays, 0-yard drive. So 3 and out, and you get 0 yards on it.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough right there.
That when they were going, they got some impressive drives in this one, and you were like, oh, all right, maybe they got these offenses rumbling here, because 2 of Memphis's long drives, they had a 7-play, 65-yard drive that ended in a touchdown, and a 19-play, 73-yard drive that took up nearly 10 minutes of game time.
Dang.
To bring the game within 1.
Dang.
And, they just needed to get that alternative kickoff, that 4th and 12. And they fumbled it instead. So
they fumbled it on the kickoff? That's how they lost?
Well, it's the 4th and 12 conversion. But
okay.
Yeah. Already kind of a tough one to get.
Yeah, that's pretty much impossible.
Well, if you're Houston, you got your first win of the season. You can maybe start building off of that. Yeah, if you're Memphis, time to shake some things up. You're not looking too hot, and there's already some teams starting to pull ahead of the pack. including maybe the Michigan Panthers here, Caveman. They just sent the last year's championship runner-up San Antonio Brahmas.
They're still
sent them packing.
winless. 0-3 Brahmas, man.
26-23 here.
Perkins is my boy, man. We got to keep him in it.
He is
playing
real well.
I don't mind him. He didn't have a touchdown here, threw a pick, but he's pretty solid on the ground. Like, they just kind of design runs for him.
His legs in the red zone are where he's really dangerous, man.
He gets real athletic, and he has pretty solid size. Like,
it wasn't like they set up a ton of designed runs for him. It was just his, he get his eyes downfield, not seeing anything there, and create with his legs.
10 rushes, though, 30 yards, 2 touchdowns for the kid. And Sheridan with the touchdown on the ground as well. Wasn't really too big of a passing day for us. Pretty mixed up. Like Mariner, Turner, and Ross really just lightening the load for the quarterback. Does scare me though. Who's the wide receiver 1 on the Michigan Panthers right now?
Yeah, we still don't know. Well, I mean, San Antonio, guys that I had a lot of hope for this season, Anthony McFarland, Jonte Kirkland, pretty much non-existent. McFarland did catch a touchdown in this game, but it has just not looked real pretty for the Brahmas. Kellen Mond, I don't think he's the answer. I would go back to Quentin Dormady. He's still on your roster. I don't know.
At this point,
he led you to like 9 wins last season, got you to the championship. Why you went away from him, no idea. But here we are. Here the Brahmas are. Now they're 0-3.
Yeah, Kellen Mond is not looking like the answer.
Frank Ginda is on that Panthers defense, having himself another great week. 9 total tackles, half of a sack, TFL as well. I got some dogs on this defensive line here. Where's my boy Kai Nakua? There he is. Kind of acquired the game from him. Only 3 tackles. The secondary is.
It's cool though. We got both of them.
Yeah.
2 Nakua brothers.
We're kind of locking people up there.
The Saints didn't want to sign Sampson, so my other squad got him. Shout out to the Michigan Panthers for giving him a chance.
Pull him back in.
I mean, Kai Nakua, nasty safety, bro. He'll return a pick 6 on you. He's just all over the field for this team.
The score, some garbage time scoring, really, that made this look a little closer than it was. Panthers in the third got up to a pretty big lead. Added an insurance field goal there in the fourth quarter. And the Brahmas got a little garbage time TD around 2 minutes left.
Yeah,
weren't able to do much else with it though. And made the final score look a little bit closer, but for the most part the Panthers were in firm control of this game as well. Yeah. So feeling good if you're Michigan. If you're the Brahmas, might be time to hit the panic button.
Yeah, it's looking pretty scary coming into week 4.
Now, the surprise of the season, the DC Defenders.
Dude.
Carved up my Battlehawks here, man.
27-15 in the Battle Dome.
In the Battle Dome, no less. It was a 6-point game at the end of halftime. They were up 18-12. And then the Battlehawks got held to 3 points in the second half.
Dang.
And they gave up
scoreless fourth quarter.
9 points in that fourth quarter there. Jordan Te'amu is just putting up, again, the wildest stat
Winston numbers right now.
He is 17 of 37.
This is what we're
243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
45%. No, I'll give him the 46. Yeah. I'll round up for you.
Not to be outdone, Manny Wilkins said, "Hold my beer." Went 16 of 29 for only $147, 1 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He was just giving the ball away. 4 turnovers by St. Louis in this one. They were out and they lost the time of possession battle by 11 minutes. They were 4 of 14 on third down. They had 7 first downs this entire game. I mean,
That's tragic.
we looked solid in the first half. We were completely fell apart in the second half. Just nothing was working. Couldn't run the ball. Wilkins was just giving it away. Despite that, he was our leading rusher, 39 yards. Or running backs. I mean, where were you guys all game?
Yeah, what the heck?
Not like Jacob Pearson, 1 carry for 7 yards. Javar and Howard, 3 for 6 yards. Jacob Sailors touched the ball 7 times and was only able to manage 1 yard rushing.
Like, no wonder why.
He was out of the backfield merchant. 7 catches for 91 yards. We need Hakeem Butler's been hurt. We need him back from injury. That's going to really help. I think help the offense.
He's also the only person. Frank Darby had 1 catch for 35 yards, but the next up, 4 catches for
1 yard.
1 yard
from Pearson. I don't know how much longer to talk about this. It was just a terrible performance. I was like, we'd get some gifts from Teamu, and it's like, hey, give it right back. You know, we're gonna
right back to him.
Fumble the ball on our opening drive, throw an interception 2 drives later. Then you're like, you get some confidence going. You're like, okay, 3 possessions, or 4 first quarter possessions, kind of a disaster. 2 turnovers, 2 punts. We get into the second quarter, and I'm like, okay, touchdown drive. There we go.
Like that,
get an interception. Can't really move the ball, but I'm like, all right, we got a field goal out of that. And then, around 51 seconds left before halftime, cap off a nice 8-play, 40-yard drive with a field goal. I'm like, all right, things are looking all right. Don't gotta panic. We got ourselves a chance here, putting some things together. And we're gonna come out, we're gonna punt, get a field goal, and then fourth quarter starts, interception. The 2 fourth quarter interceptions, those really killed me. I was like, I can forgive having a bad start to the game, but you're really not. You're really not QB1 caliber if you're gonna just
that's losing the game.
Give it away here in the fourth when you need it bad. And one of those interceptions coming under a minute, and then it gave the defenders a chance to kick field goal, officially making it a 2-possession game. And then the other interception, when we were only down by 3, gives them their touchdown to go up by 10, which is still 1-possession game in the UFL because it's not. You can score a touchdown and go for 3 and be up by 9, but it's basically almost a 1-possession game.
That's pretty close.
Rough week for my boys in St. Louis here.
Yeah, man. DC though, proving that they might be something to watch out for here in this UFL standings. 3-0 going into week 4. Let's check out the matchups for that before we head to our next break, and we'll give a quick prediction on who we got for week 4. First one here, another home game for the Panthers against the Showboats. Got to take my Panthers, man. Showboats offense did not look like they had much going. Another loss. They scored some points, but I think we can hang with them. Here. Could be a chance for us to find our wide receiver 1 as well against a team that might be punting us the ball a lot. Yeah. They didn't have a lot of offense. We might get some opportunities.
EJ Perry going to be playing his former team.
Oh, it could be a revenge game then. I don't want to speak too soon.
On the road, I don't know. The Showboats look pretty bad. I think the Panthers should win that pretty easily. Battlehawks and the Renegades in Arlington. St. Louis got to go on the road. I mean,
got to bounce back.
I would
go in Battlehawks.
Yeah, man. I hope Manny Wilkins is not still in his head about this game and can just snap out of it.
He needs week 1 where he just ran through that defender and trucked him for the first down. He needs to do that first play of the game and just get some confidence back.
Our defense is going to need to be real locked in there too, because if not, I think the Renegades could carve us up. I'm a little disheartened by my team, but I'll still go with them. Gonna be close though. Stallions and the Roughnecks. Trap game potentially for Birmingham.
I want to go Roughnecks here.
I want to go with the trap game here. Birmingham does not have any
going
identity.
On the road. They had a tough week last week against a pretty bad team. Considering you're the champion, it's a pretty bad team that they played against last week and only put up 10 points.
And then we get the Brahmas going to DC, Aldi Field, play the Defenders. Yeah, I think the Brahmas are going to get wrapped up and choked to death by a big beer snake here in DC.
Beer, we need a beer snake.
Give me the Defenders by 20.
Defenders by 20.
They're carving up the league this year, man. We've come to that point. We're going to go ahead and hit our final music break. We'll have a quick update on the NHL playoffs when we come back, and some scandal with the Saints quarterback room. You don't want to miss it here until the final whistle on Military Broadcast Radio.
It's time for a vacation, and Fairway Travels is here to share great specials for you to choose from. Discover the charm and features of one of Sandal's 16 all-inclusive, luxury-included, adults-only resorts. Or a family-friendly beaches destination in the Caribbean. Or how about a couples resort in Jamaica? If cruising's your preference, get Thunderstroke aboard Carnival Cruise Lines or set sail on an award-winning Royal Caribbean ship. Join Virgin Voyages now for a wonderful adults-only sailing. It doesn't matter if you choose to travel by plane, train, automobile, cruise ship, or rowboat, we can help you reach your dream destination. Contact Fairway Travels today at 228-365-1012. That's 228-365-1012. Or email bookitnow247@gmail.com. Fairway Travels, where your journeys keep satisfying.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
You are looking live, everybody. Back with the final 30 minutes of Till the Final Whistle. HG and Caveman back in the studio. NHL playoffs right around the corner. Let's get into it, everybody. Avs are going up against the Dallas Stars in the first round, dude. They got Rantanen. They're looking scarier. They knocked us out of the playoffs last year.
They did. I don't really want to play that team again, but we're going to have to. Kind of looks like the Canadians have to just win tonight to lock up that final available playoff spot as well. Do got to beat Carolina, which Carolina doesn't have a whole lot to play for.
Yeah, it's kind of just going to be a game that the Canadians don't need to let go.
Yeah.
It's playing spoiler here late in the season for Carolina.
Columbus, from what I've heard, they aren't out of it technically yet, but yeah, they definitely need Montreal to lose, and then they'd have to beat New York tomorrow night.
Oh, that's tough.
Don't know if we'll see that. So I think we can pretty confidently say that the Canadians will be our last team here in the postseason. Bam.
There's a lot of games on tonight, actually, going across a few other divisions. Ducks and Jets. Ducks not really playing for too much. They're will finish no lower than 9th in the draft lottery order, is what ESPN is saying. Enter this game with 79 total points, and the teams lower than them have 82 or more. But a loss followed here. Yeah. They could get like high 7th overall in this draft lottery, which could put the Ducks in a pretty good spot to make a little rebuild going. I mean, the Jets are going to be number 1 seed in the West.
President Cup's Cup champions, so best regular season record on any team. And they'll be having the Blues round one. Certainly not an easy matchup. A team that was on fire, had a 12-13 game win streak, and won a good number of games down the stretch. It's a fast-paced team, plays with a lot of energy. But Winnipeg's got a deep rotation and some really good defenders. If we're looking at that as a round one matchup, how many games do you think that series goes to?
St. Louis kind of went on a little run there at the end. You know, I still think Winnipeg takes it, but I think it'll be a little gentleman sweep in that first round. St. Louis might take at least one on the home ice, on their home ice.
Well, give me the Jets in 6 here. I think that series can go to 6, but I'm leaning Winnipeg on that one for sure.
Good first round matchup, though.
All right, we got to just rip the Band-Aid off. Stars and Avalanche.
Hopefully Avs in 7, man. Hopefully Avs in 7.
God, we really figured some things out there late in the season. Some trades we made, just bringing some better defenders. You know, our back guys' defense was a lot better. You know, this is probably the homer in me, but I'm going to say Avs in 7. Let's go.
Come on, Avs.
Going to be exhausted, though, going into round 2 against Winnipeg. That'll be another absolute
gauntlet to get through the West.
Yeah, beast to face.
Then you either got to play Minnesota, Vegas, the Kings, or the Oilers in the Western Conference Final.
Well, you don't think the Wild might be there?
No, they could be. They could be.
Do you think they're going to beat Vegas round 1? I highly doubt
Honestly,
it.
no. If they got to really play at that high pace that they like to play at.
Give me that as I might just say that's a sweep there. I think Vegas just sweeps them.
Probably
if I'm being
sweeps
honest. Another doozy. This is another, I think, 7. Get 7 game series here.
The Kings are
Maybe
good,
6.
but Edmonton, you can't want to sleep on them.
They still got the best player in all of hockey. It's a deep team. Yeah, I'm thinking Oilers in 7 here. These first round matchups here in the West are going to be doozies. Excuse me. Like 2 series, like a 100% seed going to 7 games easily. There's a bit of a rivalry, some bad blood just from previous playoff matchups between the Kings and the Oilers. So there's a lot of pride and just tension between these teams. It's just going to make them compete even that much harder. But I'm still leaning Oilers in 7. I was trying to think of give myself an argument for the Kings, but Oilers in 7.
Going Oilers. Now we're going over to the West.
East.
Or the East, sorry. And we've got that's the Senators there at that wild card spot against the Maple Leafs, right?
Yes, it is. Battle logos, but you are correct.
Okay, that logo is very confusing. It doesn't look like what a senator would be. It's like a guy in armor. Like it looks like more of a 300 character than a senator.
Yeah. All right. I mean, maybe they're going for like a Roman soldier, like a guy with the helmet and the red coming back there. But again, that's the guy in the phalanx is not a senator. So
yeah, that's
logo doesn't make any sense.
We got a team named the Hockey Club. I mean, we're over here complaining about the Senators look. They give them a name. Give them a name, dude.
What was the name I suggested for them? Because they're in Utah. A lot of Utah Prophets.
Oh yeah.
That's right. I think that name would still go so hard.
That would be solid. That would be solid.
With the Prophets, come on.
You could have a pretty cool logo, like a guy that looks like a wizard.
Absolutely.
That would be kind of sick. Come on. You could get some fan traditions, people in robes in the crowd. Come on,
a crystal
Utah,
ball or
hire
some,
us, hire us, Utah. You need
any
some
any
marketing.
object that's been used for prophecy telling. Could be a tradition to have that at the stadium and look in the glass ball that get in the other team's head like, oh, I see the future. You're taking an L.
It's like how the Sacramento Kings have Light the Beam.
Yeah,
they're gonna have Ponder the Orb.
Boom.
But
it would be so far. Utah, hit us up. But we got locked back into the task at hand here. Maple Leaves, Senators round 1. Do I give the Senators one? Do I say they take one game? I don't.
Sweep.
Give me the
Sweep.
Leaves in 4. Panthers and the Lightning. Tampa Bay. Battle of Florida here. Tampa Bay and Miami.
Honestly, that makes me kind of think this one might go to 7. But I like Florida here in 6.
I was gonna say Florida in 6 as well. Defending champs, still got a lot to prove.
There's just no game's a home game here.
It really there isn't a whole lot of home ice here. Maybe the people won't make the drive, up or down from Tampa to Miami, but there's still going to be a lot of fans that are willing to do it. All right, we got the Capitals and the Canadians. Canadians, you're going to go down in 4. Capitals are going to sweep you. Alexander Ovechkin and the boys are going to just, I think, clean up the floor here with the Canadians. Easy sweep in the first round there. And then we got the Hurricanes and the Devils.
Give me the Devils. Give me the Devils right here.
I think the Devils in 6 here. I like it.
I want them to go on a little Cinderella run because they're probably going to get smacked by the Capitals next round. I mean, Ovi's going on a run this playoffs. I don't want it.
Right.
Nobody can doubt it. They got the luck. They got the luck of breaking that.
I mean, this may very well be his final season. We'll see if he retires after this. He'll probably be looking to go out with a bang. The Devils are going to give us a bang in the first round and take down the Hurricanes.
Exciting first round series. Frank the Tank is going to be hype. There's going to be a lot of promise for that team. They're super, super young too. One of the youngest teams in the NHL. So the fact that they've made it this far, shout out to them. But that does conclude our NHL playoffs right now. The standings are not yet final for just that one final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. But like we said, probably going to be the Canucks that win tonight and just take hold of it and get the bracket final. Still a couple of days of games left. Now let's kick it over to the NFL news, man, because Derek Carr is playing games.
You're listening at home. Hey, drop your prediction. Who do you like in the NHL and NBA playoffs? Let us know.
Come on, Avs. Run the gauntlet. Nuggets run the gauntlet too. Both teams have to fight through a hellscape to get to the finals this year.
I'm being greedy. I want both. We just got to be lucky if even one makes it.
Yeah. We're going to be very lucky if even one.
But we got some scandal in the New Orleans Saints quarterback room. Caveman, I'm going to let you just take it away real quick.
They need to give this guy a freaking mask and a gun. He robbed us. He robbed us straight up of $40 million. One of the biggest reasons that we're in cap space right now, that guy right there. The whole reason that started this, randomly flared up a shoulder injury. Of course, the guy's freaking Glass Joe. Everything on this dude. Last season, it makes sense why he tore something in his groin. He got sacked by 8 people against the Chiefs. All right, but in the middle of the offseason, you're pushing 35. What work could you possibly do in that hard where you're gonna mess up your shoulder in the offseason? Coming in where you pretty much got a cushy job, man. You're making $40 million to be mediocre. You got a freaking cushy job.
It seemed like
you got the best job in the world.
We're committed to at least trying to be competitive with them,
That's
Sonny Johnson, you bring Chase back, you get Justin Reed over here. It really seemed like they
They wanted to make something happen
Right,
with
at
the
least
guy.
try to be competitive next season.
And the fact that he's holding out with this injury, it's mainly because the Saints, a lot of rumors right now.
They brought back
Brandon Cooks,
too.
who are giving him deep threat weapons right now.
Convinced Cam Jordan to come back for another season. Like, I mean, they were at least going to give it a shot. Weren't going to cut him, let them run it back 1 year, see how many games they could win.
At this point, like, we might as well just cut him now.
I think this might be a blessing in disguise for the Saints. I know,
yes,
like it's.
Yes.
I know.
Yes, it is. This guy is not the answer.
Some cap problems. But yeah, no, I think he lied about this injury.
He's holding out. The main cause of concern right now, and the main rumor is that he's faking this injury because the Saints are considering going after a younger quarterback in this year's draft with the 9th overall pick, or one of the 9 draft picks that we do have. There's some quarterbacks in here in this class that we could potentially go after. But at the same time, it's like this guy's not even, the young guy may not even see the field, and you still have a chance to, play and have this young guy like learn from behind you. Be a mentor position for the rest of your contract. And, if that's something you want to do, you can go and play somewhere else if that's what you'd like to do at the end. Because I'm hoping that he can just be a mentor until the next guy is ready. And hopefully that next guy's ready when Derek Carr's contract is up.
Okay, man, this does, in a sense, kind of open Pandora's box, though, because, now, what free agent quarterback might throw his hat in the ring for this QB job.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you don't want to. I know you don't want to hear it, but
that's actually the last thing I thought about.
We can't
thinking about this.
Rule it out. We just can't rule it out.
It's just, can we really? Would we really be able to afford that? Would we really be able to?
He'd probably have to take a pay cut that I don't think he'd want to take.
That's what would really be tough.
I can't believe, like, A-Rod, will you just pick a team, dude? Like, what is up with you, man?
We understand. Just go to the Steelers.
It's gonna be
get away from the Saints. We're gonna pick freaking Shedeur Sanders at 9. Now I'm fully with it. Yeah. Before I was like, all right, we might come into a new year and just like we'll be kind of mid. Like Derek Carr, it seemed like Gale and Mickey were like, this guy might make something happen to be kind of competitive. Like you were saying. It's not the answer. Derek Carr is not going to be the answer for us.
He's not. I would love for the Saints to get Shedeur. I think that'd be a good place for him to go.
Now we got him weapons. Now we brought back Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, certainly got some weapons for him. I would just be, interested to see how Clint Kubiak utilizes, Shedeur's timing, his accuracy, things that he's that's probably what he does best, is just his poise under pressure.
That's what sucks.
So the
Kubiak's in Seattle.
That's right. Forgot
about Kubiak anymore. Let me actually check who our new guy is. I'm pretty sure it's somebody that used to former coaching staff, like coworker with Kellen Moore. So I mean, that would be interesting. I want to see what the heck Kellen Moore could do with Shedeur Sanders' timing. Like that, I want to see what's going on there. Like, it kind of just excites me now that it seems like the Derek Carr dog days are over, and I can cheer for somebody else. Like, I want to get a Saints quarterback jersey again. You know what I mean? The Drew Brees jersey's nice, but it comes a time where you got, like, Bo Nix came along. Everybody kind of accepted him after a while over here. The new guy, I don't even care who we get. New starter, I'm going to welcome with open arms, and I'm going to defend them until they freaking drop. Because Derek Carr just makes you not want to watch football.
I've heard some rumors that maybe the thought process here too was that they're trying to maybe drive up the value of their pick and make people think they're going for a quarterback, potentially tricking somebody into trading up. Will they then trade back? What are your thoughts on that rumor?
See, that I wouldn't really mind that either, honestly, because we could potentially get some pretty good pieces that we're really missing. Because it's not just the guys we signed filled some holes. There is a lot more that need to be filled, and at least a lot more guys that we could get for, the future. Because Demario Davis ain't staying forever, Cam Jordan ain't staying forever, Kamara ain't staying forever. Like, we got people that are getting towards that tail end, and we need those guys, the young dudes that get ready to come in behind them. We need those flash in the pan young players they're starting to come up.
If you don't go Shedeur Sanders, say you trade back and you go for a quarterback later in the draft, which one of those later round guys do you like?
Honestly, man, I mean,
not a big fan of any of them, huh?
Not really.
You don't want them on your team?
Not really. Like, I don't know. That maybe if you're like John Gruden head, maybe that Will Howard, hype video that they had with Barstool Sports. They're bringing back like the little QB room show with John Gruden. They've had.
I think Howard, he's perfect to go and
sit
and develop behind a vet for a bit, which
if we're going to keep Carr and Dev a guy, Will Howard, or honestly, I wouldn't mind that really. He's not really the worst. I just wouldn't really want like a Quinn Ewers. I just felt like when Quinn really got in those positions where it felt like this is like the big time moments, felt like it wasn't really there.
Oh, no, most definitely.
Archie's ready to take that spot and just Texas might win.
I mean, like you were the senior there, and like everyone was like, "Get Archie Manning," and he this is clearly the better quarterback. But now they're the politics of NIL. I mean, they lured Ewers away from. Yeah. Was he an Ohio State kid before he went over there? Because he was a transfer portal guy to Texas. I know that. I just don't remember where he went to school at.
I think it honestly might have been Oklahoma.
Oh, so that was even bigger steal then for them. Yeah. I think not a lot of people are talking about Tyler Show as well, man.
Who?
He's moving up for me. Guy like Louisville. And then Kyle McCord.
I wouldn't mind Kyle McCord either. I'd honestly have Kyle McCord, late round guy, over Will Howard. Just the Jackson Dart hype isn't too much for me. Curtis Rourke hype was too much for me to really get behind.
Not those guys.
Same with Drew Aller.
Dart's having like a Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett type of rise in the draft stock that I don't like.
Good conference that he played in. He had some good moments in the season, but their offense was heavy in the RPO, and
it's not like a good offense to get you ready for the pro style of play. It's very friendly on that first read. Like the first read is usually available there, and Dart was great when that was happening, but when the first read wasn't there, it all fell apart.
When it kind of fell apart. Yeah,
the pressure, all of that, they got to him. But I'm hearing some interesting draft buzz. Ashton Genty really was really praising the Broncos a lot in an interview and being asked about what teams were going to get him. I doubt he gets it to us down there, though, unfortunately. I'm hearing the Giants potentially leaning towards Abdul Carter. The Browns probably not looking to take a QB either, just going to let it ride. So I think Travis Hunter is going to be a Brown.
Right now, it's freaking Kenny Pickett, bro.
Which is kind of sad.
Joe Flacco. They re-signed him back.
Because he is, he's got the potential to be such an incredible talent. What's crazy about him too, shout out Dino Sports. He was watching a film breakdown of his, man. And he made a great point where, like, Hunter really isn't that refined of a route runner. He's pretty raw there, man. He is just so athletic. Like, his twitch is insane. And, like, the fact that, like, he could just get better as a route runner. And he's still probably a top 5 cornerback available in this class, too, if you take him there. But I think he should play wide receiver. Because he's just going to be, he could just stat it for you.
It would be so much more exciting, honestly.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that we're going to probably have to watch him for a significant part of his career in Cleveland.
On one of the worst franchises ever. Yeah.
All signs are really pointing to that. Unless the Titans shock the world and decide to go with him instead. Because he is hands down the best player.
Easily.
In this class.
Despite anyone's team needs, easily is the best player available.
I was really hoping there was going to be a scenario where the Patriots can end up getting him, because that's where I think, like, of those bad teams that are in the top 5, like, I could see him having the best early on success there. I want to see him succeed, because I think he's going to tear it up no matter where he goes. But, he's just one guy. I don't know if he'll be enough to do it for his whole team, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough beginning of that career.
So the Eagles, man, they might be on the clock for a tight end. Dallas Goedert, potentially not with the team anymore. We could probably see Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland both go in the first round. Those guys are definitely the top 2 tight ends in my eyes. Mason Taylor, I'm hearing grumblings about him potentially to the Eagles. I know Elijah Arroyo is there too. PFP's got Arroyo ranked above Taylor, but I think Taylor a little bit more. And then
Ferguson on there.
My guy, the biggest sneaky pick of the draft, Harold Fannin. I know he played at Bowling Green, but you look at his film and it's like he's playing with this NFL levels of route running and separation there. He's got great speed. He's not the biggest tight end. His blocking good enough, I guess, to keep him in line as a and justify him getting out there. But he can separate really well and give you some action after the catch. So I'm really watching him. Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green. That's a tight end I certainly like. I'm just thinking on to some second round picks for my Broncos. I think if somehow Genty falls to us, I think we got to go Genty. If not, I think we're going wide receiver here. And if I'm just trying to think of halfbacks, I think that'll be our next thing to go get. That will be available here in the second round. I doubt Omari Hampton will be available. Might be looking at a Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson. I kind of like Travion Henderson the best, though, who would definitely be available with my Broncos pick. And then we go, we can get into the third round even for Denver. I like us taking potential a linebacker here. Give us, Alex Singleton. How is he going to come back from that injury? We'll see. We did re-sign Justin Strnad. Maybe somebody to just run alongside. Dre Greenlaw, who again is coming off of an injury.
Yeah, he may need some time. Same with the safety, right? Or they both just kind of had some.
Hufunga, yeah, issues, exactly. Yeah, some cornerback depth I wouldn't hate. I could see like a Jack Kaiser might be available for us there. He's a very good run support. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Barrett Carr there if a guy like that were available. Or maybe we just add some depth on that defensive line. Somebody to run opposite alongside of Nick Benito. We're coming up on the end of our show here, folks. It's a little draft theorization that we're giving you. We are going to have another mock draft coming your way before we get to the draft. Probably do another round or two live on there, but we'll also get you a big 7-round mock draft for everyone to view, come draft time. Let us know who you want your team to draft. I'm dying to know, who you're fans of and who you want your team to draft. It's the big question here. I can't wait for it to just can't get here fast enough. It's a lot of loaded talent in this draft outside of the quarterback position, but there are a lot of guys in this draft that are going to have some big careers in the NFL. I can feel it. But that is going to conclude our show today. I am HG with my co-host Caveman to the right. I got H-Train on the sound. Thank you again for listening to Till the Final Whistle on Military Broadcast Radio. Until next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.